in my opinion, you have to play a perfect game against Kansas City to beat them. And for me, that perfect game for Tampa Bay starts with a run game. Not through number 12, through number 28 and number 27, Fournette and Jones. Because this Kansas City defense was ranked number 22 in the league against the rush this year. They allowed 122 yards a game. If you are able to organize that same kind of offense against them in the Super Bowl, if you're able to get the 1-2 punch with Jones and Fournette, especially if Fournette runs like he has to this playoffs, if you're able to get them going like that on the ground, that's the best way to beat this team. Because not only are you going to be moving the ball, you're going to be moving the clock. And the number one way, in my opinion, to beat Kansas City is time of possession. Because they are the quickest team in the league at scoring. They can go 4 or 5 plays down the field, score, in, a minute and 45 seconds. So no matter what, if you're the Bucs offense, you have to make sure they have as little time as possible on every drive. There's nothing wrong with Brady managing this game from a game manager perspective. You don't have to throw for 400 yards to beat the Chiefs. If you can run the ball down their throat successfully throughout the game, and just let Brady throw 15 or 20 passes instead of 35 or 40, that might be the key to win the game for them. That may be their number one thing. And so, at least as a fan watching the game, I'm going to look at it, and if I see Tampa Bay coming out and they're throwing the ball 15 times in their first 2 drives, I'm going to look at it like a missed opportunity. I think they should be committed to the ground game right out the gate. If it doesn't work, abandon it early. But if it does work, that could be instrumental to their success against Kansas City. And second thing I think would really be a huge factor is the pass rush. Now, everybody knows at this point, both of Kansas City's starting tackles on offense are injured. They're both out for the game, Schwartz and Fisher. And that's going to be another thing that's huge, in my opinion, because the pass rush from Tampa is on fire right now. You just saw what they did against Rodgers last week. They got all over him every time that the Packers had an opportunity to take advantage of the game. It was Paul. It was Barrett. It was David. There was somebody in the backfield sacking Rodgers. And I think with both of your ends of your offense, both of your safety nets, basically, if you're Tampa, you have to be going all out. If I'm Todd Bowles, blitz on first down, blitz on third down. Any down that you think could be a gotcha down, a down that you need to be sending guys on that edge. Because if those tackles can't hold up, similar to how the left tackle couldn't hold up in Green Bay last week with Bakhtiari being gone, if those tackles can't hold up, that's going to be huge for the Bucs. Because if you're getting Mahomes uncomfortable in the pocket, even though he might be the best quarterback in the league right now, there's no quarterback that's happy with being uncomfortable. No quarterback plays good under constant pressure. It doesn't matter who you are. And all of his players, not a secret. He's been around for quite a while. He's been very quiet this season in particular. And that is, I think, Rob Gronkowski. Could be one of the secret weapons of the Bucs offense this game. Because if there's a main weakness to this Chiefs defense, in my opinion, I think it would have to be their linebackers. And I think that's going to benefit Tampa in the way that nobody's going to be amazing at pass coverage when it comes to being on Gronk. And it's going to be a disadvantage for them, in my opinion. Because going into this game, I think even the over-under for Gronk was like 30 yards. Like, nobody's expecting anything out of this guy. They're not expecting the Gronk we saw, years ago in Super Bowls that was catching 100 yards. Nobody has, any belief that he can still do that. And I think that Tampa should use that to their advantage. There's nobody that can guard Gronk consistently, in my opinion. We even saw it last week against Green Bay when they did that little shovel pass to him and he ran for like 35 yards after the catch. Like, the guy still has size. He still has power. So he still has the ability to take over a game with just his sheer athleticism. And I think that the Bucs can use that to their advantage because I don't think Kansas City's looking at that as the option. I think they're still looking at it like, oh, he's old man Gronk. He's retired. He retired and came back. He's just a pass blocker now. I think that is something that they should take advantage of. Just, let them think that, and then on big downs, just let them squeak out and, catch some passes. Let him muscle a guy in the end zone for a touchdown. Like let him get loose. And I think obviously if Gronk gets loose, it's going to be an ugly game as well, because he's one of the tight ends in history that once he gets going, it's almost impossible to stop him. And I think one of the main keys to this game is going to be Tampa being aggressive, especially when it comes to the Chiefs side of the field. Like we saw with the Packers last week against Tampa Bay. The Packers settled for field goals early, and it lost them the game, because had they capitalized on even one of those, then the game's completely different at the end. If you get down there early, especially if you have the lead or it's a 0-score game, go down there. If it's 4th and goal and you're at the 4-yard line, go for it. Either you get 7 points or you leave Patrick Mahomes and the team at their own 4. Don't be stupid like what Matt LaFleur and the Packers were last week when they decided to kick the field goal at the 8-yard line. Like, think about that field position battle. You can leave them in a bad field position, or you can capitalize and get 7. So I think that being aggressive is going to be a huge part of this. We've seen teams be aggressive in recent Super Bowls and win because of it. The Eagles did it in Super Bowl 52. End of the half, 4th down in goal. No, we're not going to kick the field goal going to the half. We're going to run a Philly and get a touchdown. And that kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. Like, you have to be aggressive. This is the biggest game of the year. It's not like you can learn from your mistakes and go to next week. This is the time. You have to leave it all out on the table. So if the Bucs want to win this game, I think that they need to be aggressive early. And there's nobody better to be aggressive with than Tom Brady. Have him with those weapons and just know, Arians has to have confidence in him, to where if it's 4th and 6th and Tom is telling Bruce, I want to go for it, you have to just let it happen. Like, this guy's been here a lot more than you have. If he says, let's do this, then you have to let it happen. Even more to my point, I think that if Kansas City's struggling early, it's even more of a reason to be aggressive, because they can't score, so why not go down there and score more points and be aggressive to try to get 7 to expand your lead quicker, rather than, okay, they can't score, but let's kick 2 field goals and make it a 6-point game, to where they can still go down and score 1 touchdown and be right there in it. And then lastly, I would say the key is the old man. The glorified GOAT, the guy that will, in my opinion, no doubt be the greatest of all time if he wins this game, Tom Brady. I think that with Brady, his main thing is he needs to be careful with the football. Because for all the good things Brady has done at Super Bowls in recent years, or Super Bowls throughout his career, but his last few, he has been sloppy with the football. Either way, this is a guy that, he hasn't necessarily been clean. And all these other teams that he's done that against haven't had the kind of high-powered offense to where it really, really matters. And, the Falcons did. The Falcons had a high-powered offense, and they took advantage of his pick initially with that pick 6, but then that was basically all she wrote up to that, because that was the last points they scored. But, he's like what he did against Green Bay last week, it's not going to be able to fly against Kansas City. Just going based off of what we've seen from history with Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs offense, you are not going to be able to just turn the ball over 3-4 times as an offense, whether it's Brady or not. You're not going to be able to turn the ball over 3 or 4 times and expect to walk out of there with the win. It's just not going to happen. If there's anybody you can bet on in the Super Bowl, Brady's a safe bet most of the time. Actually, 66.6% of the time so far. But, he's had a tendency for letting that ball slip in recent years in the big game. And I think that is quite a issue that needs to be addressed in this game. Brady holding onto that football and making sure that it doesn't end up in the defense's hands is going to be critical to the Bucs' success, in my opinion.